Hey everybody, Jason here. So today I'm going to continue building my tiny cabin. It's fall in Canada, winter is coming, so I really need to get that door built and installed. So I've never built an exterior door before. I have built cabinet doors, and I'm basically going to use the same construction process, just with larger, thicker material. Alright, so yeah, without saying any more, I'm going to get started. Okay, so because I'm not going by any plans or design, basically I'm just building what comes to my mind. I have the rough opening for the door, so I built basically the frame, the door frame, to size to fit in there, just so I can get the exact dimensions of what the door will need to be inside that. It's also helping me decide just the design of the door itself and, you know, the shape and everything, so I can get the cut pieces to assemble for the door itself. Okay, so I've cut some of the wood, mostly the outer framing of the actual door itself. What I'm using is Western red cedar decking, so it's got a radius on both sides. I have to remove that. Later on I might add a different profile, not sure yet, but I have to remove it just to make it more, you know, just dimensional stock. So I've taken care of that, and then I've also as mentioned before, I made the frame for the door, but I don't even know what it's called, but, you know, inside, is it the door jamb? Maybe it's the jamb. Inside a door frame, the door butts up to something, so I've just added a strip. Basically, I just measured when I was cutting my thick stock that will be for the door. I made sure that I could get enough material out of it to use that for what I'm calling the door jamb. So yeah, so I've just added that. I used some epoxy to thickened epoxy to adhere it, and then just some small 1-inch finishing nails just to hold it in place while the epoxy dries. I thought about just nailing it in place, but I think for a door, you know, it's always going to be closing up against it, so I want it to be really firm as well. Just the epoxy will stop any weather, any rain or whatever from actually blowing between those two pieces of the frame and the jamb itself. So anyway, because of the colder temperatures right now in Canada, it's fall, and so it's going to probably take 24 hours for the epoxy to really kick off and cure. So yeah, there's not a whole lot I can do until that happens. So I'll come back later and carry on. Okay, so I've spent the last couple days working on the door. Basically, I've been working on the rails and stiles, I guess you would call it. I don't know if that applies to big entryway doors. But basically, I'm building a 6-piece door. So there's like framing on the sides and on the bottom, and then panels. A lot of the time has been spent measuring, but also waiting for glue to dry. So one thing I've had to do is I've had to build panels that will fit within the wood framing. So that's what I'm going to work on today. I have to sand up where the glue line is and then cut these to size. I need to make sure all of my measurements are exactly right, and so that when I go to assemble it, it just basically fits together without any problems. I'm using epoxy for all of the gluing. I could probably use just a regular wood glue or even like a exterior wood glue. The thing is, I want it to be as strong as possible. I know epoxy, I know its durability. Yeah, so that's what I'm going with. So anyhow, lots of work still to do. So I'm gonna get to it and hopefully get this door done today. Okay, well, I've got everything dry fit and yeah, looks good. So the next thing is to take it all apart again and then glue it all up and clamp it. So to glue it, I'm gonna use some Thixo epoxy. It's a Total Boat product. I like it. I do mix my own epoxy to, you know, thicken it up, but for a job like this, it's nice to have something that's already pre-mixed. Just, it's a time saver, and you know, when you mix your own epoxy and thicken it, the one issue is always how much to use. So you either mix too little and then have to mix more, or you mix too much and you waste it. Yeah, so it's a good alternative. I'll put a link where you can find this. Like I said, it's a Total Boat product, but I'll put a link where you can get Thixo epoxy in the description of the video. So yeah, right now, as you can see, it probably looks kind of strange because this side is elevated. So I'm building a Dutch door, so the top and the bottom are going to open independently. So to do that, I need to, it's called a rabbet joint. I need to basically have a step between the top and the bottom so that they can butt up. So because of that, it's extra long at the moment. So once it's all glued up, then I'll cut that into both the top and the bottom door, and yeah, we'll be all set. Okay, well, they've sat clamped up overnight, and yeah, the epoxy's dry. It's been about 12 hours since I glued them up. So I'm gonna take them out of the clamps. I'm gonna check the fit, add the rabbet to the bottom and top edge, and yeah, then sand them up. Okay, so I've cut the rabbet in the top part of the door. I still have to do the bottom. I've cut it about 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch. It's a little heavy, so there's a bit of play. I'm gonna use this foam gasket. I used it when I was building the kayak for around the hatches. So I'm gonna put this foam down in the rabbet, and then when the door's closed, it'll have like a weather stripping basically to stop the wind from blowing, as well as some rattle. So if it was a windy day, you know, I was inside, I don't want to hear the door shaking at all. So by adding a bit of foam at the joint, it'll stop the wind from blowing through, but also reduce any rattle. So yeah. Okay, so I've cut all of the pieces for the door, I've assembled all of the door frame components, and I've put on some penetrating oil. So there's been a lot of steps and a lot of work building this Dutch door. I know the video must be getting long, so I'm gonna divide the door video into 2 parts. So as you've watched, this video has been about building the door. In the next video, I'll go ahead and install it. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.